The result of this tutorial is that when the player touches a platform, then the player can pass the door of the same color of the platform. If try to pass other doors of different colors, the player cannot pass. If the player touches a new color, then the player can pass the new door of the last color selected. When the player touches the white platform, then everything is reset and the player cannot pass through any of the doors. The elements of the workspace are: inside the folder named doors, we have the three doors, the blue, the green, and the red. And inside the folder named platforms, we have each of the platforms. Every door is a part with a color, no more than that. Here is defined the color in the properties. The folder platform are basically models. Inside the models are the parts. Inside the models are the parts, these two, and the important part is the touchable. This touchable part is useful to detect when the player is on the platform. This element named touchable is basically a part with a transparency of 1, you can check it, transparency of 1, and with a collision in false. The last element is the script that we have in the server script service. We have it here. This script is a little long, but even when you think that this is complete, it's not really. Let's start analyzing this script part by part. Okay, so let's start with the beginning. So let's remove all of this. First of all, what we're doing is importing the services that we're gonna use. We're gonna use the physics service because we need it to make the register of the collision groups, and we need the workspace service to get the elements of the workspace. Now, what we want to do is to define the collisions group. What we're doing is basically saving in some variables the name of each collision group. The name could be anything that we want. The only name that we need to respect, to keep or maintain is the default group. If we select one element, we can see in its properties that it is assigned to the default collision group. So this is the reason we need to use the same name. The next is to use the physics service to register each collisions group. This is for the red, the green, and the blue group. The next part is to take the element from the workspace. We're gonna take the doors. So each of these doors are inside the folder named doors. So what we're doing here is we're using the workspace service. We're using the method findFirstChild to take doors. So in that way we're gonna take the folder named doors, and then having that folder we can use the findFirstChild method to take each of the doors. So we're gonna take the red, the green, and the blue. The next is to set the collision group property with the new group. We are telling here that the red door should belongs to the collision group named red group, that the green door should set its property to the green group, and the blue door we're gonna set its property to the blue group. The property that we're setting is this one. If we check the collision group property in the workspace when the game is running, we can see that the collision group is changed. It's not default anymore. Which is the green door, it's gonna be green group, and red door is gonna be red group. The next is reference the platform. We're gonna use the workspace service and the find first child method to get the folder platforms, and then inside the folder platform we're gonna use the find first child to take each of the platforms. Having the folder, we're gonna have the blue platform, green, red, and white platform. And we're gonna save them in these variables. Now we're gonna save the original color of the avatar because we're gonna use it. In my case, my avatar uses this original color. In your case, you may have a different one. Let's open the space for the last part of the script. In this part, we have a function, and this function is named handleTouch. This function is gonna receive the platform, the group, and the color. We're gonna call it 4 times. The red platform with the red group and the red color. The green platform, the green group, and the green color. The blue platform, the blue group, and the blue color. And the last one is the white platform with the default group and the original color. Inside the function, what we have is, at the beginning, we're gonna get the touchable element, which is basically from the platform, we're gonna use the method findFirstChild to take the element named touchable. For example, for the blue platform, we're gonna have the blue platform and find the first child with the name touchable. So we are basically taking this element. Having the element, we can use the method touch to detect when the player have indeed touched that element. Now, let's run the game to understand better the next part. Any of the part of the player can touch. So, if we see here in the workspace, the player, we can have all of these elements. What we need to do is, we need to take all of them and we need to do two stuffs. One is to set the collision group, we are doing it here, and the other is to set the color, the group that received from the parameters and the color that we receive from the parameters. The next is to have the model of the player. We are doing that using the other part.parent. And then to get all of the children of that model, basically all of these elements, we're gonna use the method getChildren. Then we can loop through all of the children and we need to verify those children that are base part. Basically, we're gonna take the head, the left foot, all of them that are base part. We're gonna check using the method isEl. Having those elements that are base part, we can assign the group and the color. Let's make a test. If I run before touching the platform, all of these elements should have the property and the color of the default. If we check here, the collision group is default. So we have the head, collision group, default, and the color is the original color. And it's gonna happen with all of the parts. When I touch the platform, now the collision group have changed and the color have changed. Now it's a new collision group and the new color. The last part. The last part is to define that all of the elements that belongs to a certain group should not collide. We're gonna do that using the collision group setCollide method. We are saying here that the group name red group should not collide, and should not is because of this false, should not collide with other group name red group. So we are saying if you belong to the same group, to the same red group, should not collide. And we're doing that for the 3 groups. The red, the green, and the blue. Let's run the game. Here, touch this color. We can now pass through this door. Play change or change here. We can now pass the red. I cannot pass the others. I hope you have learned about collisions groups, and if you have any question, please let me know in the comments.